Hello, I'm Kevin Malone, and I'm a composer, and I teach composing at the University of Manchester. And this vlog is the first one in a series, and it's about a project called A Day in the Life. And it's about textile mill workers in the Northwest, specifically around Leeds and Bradford. And even though I'm based here in Manchester, I was contacted by the amazing associate leader of Opera North Orchestra in Leeds, the associate leader being Andy Long, and he asked for a violin concerto based on some stories that he read when he was 10 years old in this book. A book called Monday, 21st of October, 1805. And in it, it tells various events happening around the world on that particular day, but in particular, the life of a young boy called Robert Blincoe keeps coming back on various pages along the way. And what happens to Robert Blincoe, Andy said, really affected him when he was young, because it's about how he's been ill-treated in Derbyshire and in the Yorkshire areas in the mills when he had to work there. So, who is this Robert Blincoe from the late 1700s, and in particular on that day, 21st of October, 1805? Well, we could find out a lot more about him because his memoir was published during his lifetime in the second or third decade of the 1800s. And an academic called John Waller wrote this book, The Real Oliver Twist. Charles Dickens was influenced by reading the serialization of Robert Blincoe, recounting his life in textile mills. And so John Waller goes through that memoir and checks out all the rest of Blincoe's life and all the conditions going around, up to and including the Peterloo massacre of 1819 here in Manchester. But this violin concerto is about the young boy struggling in his daily life. So the daily life is something I mapped out here. What would it be like to spend, what was a typical 24-hour day like as a young boy who's enslaved in a textile factory way back in the early 1800s. So I worked out his sleeping patterns according to the book and other sources. A lot of research that we've done on this, and what he was encountering hour by hour throughout the day, and the short meal times and the appalling food and the terrible sleeping conditions they had. So I'm trying to write this violin concerto based on that, and I'm on page 30, 31, to page 35 on this now. This looks like page 35 with the words threatening. We've got that far. This is the afternoon, part 2. So here we are, part 2, and here we are, it's early December, and I'm writing this all out. So we've got a lot of machine music and running around and racing around, and just some of the things that Blincoe would do, which would be to crawl on his hands and knees phenomenally quickly and gather up cotton balls off the floor and clean the machines while they're still in operation, and all sorts of very dangerous tasks. It's an awful lot of research. My research assistant, Liam Grogan, has been helping a huge amount. We've been going out to places in Pudsey, so we've been to Pudsey Civic Society. We've got lots of books here. We've got things on oral histories of contemporary mill workers, the history of Hainsworth. The A.W. Hainsworth is by appointment to the Crown, and there are 7 generations of textile manufacturing. So Ruth Strong, who's written a lot of these books, so we're plowing through these books as we get them. And I'll be giving you updates on this project. Now, the project itself has 3 components. One is the violin concerto, based on poor Robert Blincoe's life. By the way, it all comes out fine at the end, just in case you're wondering, as did his life. And another piece called A Peterloo Parade, and that is a celebration piece about the peaceful, jovial, and very political gathering at St. Peter's Square in Manchester on the morning of 1890, so this is in the year 1819, on the 16th of August. And it was a peaceful gathering. There were no weapons, nothing like that. Later on, there was the horrific massacre. But this overture, this orchestra overture, is about the people chanting and singing and using real protest songs and very nationalistic songs like "Rule Britannia" of the day. So this event we're going to be doing in May 3rd. Through May 25th throughout venues in the Leeds and Bradford area with Opera North Orchestra. We're going to be playing a Peterloo Parade, which is a celebration piece, the violin concerto, which has its dark moments, but ultimately has his triumph over the machines and over poor working conditions. And then finally, there's another very intimate piece, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's called My Mill Life. And My Mill Life, which we've not done yet, but we've gather a lot of information, including, like I was saying here, textile voices, various testimonies, current testimonies, and interviews that Liam and I are undertaking to write a piece of music which uses actual interviews coming through loudspeakers while some of the musicians play. So that will be the third piece, and I'll give you some updates, especially when I finish this first piece, the violin concerto. So I'll be talking to you soon, and do contact us at all if you want to know more. The address is www.opusmalone.com, and our contact details there, and we'll have links over to our new website. So thank you for listening and watching, and I'll be in touch soon. Goodbye.